Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're regular here, you know I review many photographic, audio and video related products. Well, this is an update video really on a product that I purchased back in 2016, the summer of 2016, and it's been in regular use ever since. And it is this machine here. It is the Retroscan, well the movie stuff Retroscan Universal, that scans 8mm, 16mm, well Super 8, Standard 8, 16mm and 9.5 film. I've actually got a standard 8 film set up in it. Now, I'm not going to go through all the rigmarole and the details of this machine, purely because I've already done that in several of my videos, but I just want to give an update what I still think of this machine and why I still use it. And I use it because the quality of a film that it scans is great. It's really, really good. You have to keep an eye on it, you have to watch it through, because what I do, I've got it set to manual exposure. I'm going to show you when I run a film through. I've got it set to manual exposure, so I can make minor adjustments as I scan the film. But I can also obviously do any further adjustments in the edit. I edit in Final Cut Pro, and I can do further adjustments in the edit. I've got it set up with a dedicated PC. That is one of its downsides. It uses its own software, and it is only PC based software, so I can't use it on my iMac. I could on my dual boot iMac, but I've actually got a dedicated PC for running this machine. It needs a lot of RAM, and it needs to be ideally an i7 processor, and that's what this particular PC is. So what we'll do, we'll load up, well I've loaded up the software, and I've got the set to regular 8. You have to set regular 8, Super 8, 16mm, whatever. I've got it set to regular 8, and the gain I would normally put for shadow detail somewhere around here. I have a gain set to 0, but this is the crucial thing that you can adjust while you're actually scanning the film, so you can actually get the correct exposure as the film goes through the gate. So what we'll do, we'll get the machine running. I've already focused the machine up and set the the scanning resolution. Now it will scan in 2K, HD and standard definition. I can't really see the point in scanning in standard definition. You might as well scan at the highest. So I'm scanning at 2K, which is higher than HD. It's actually 2100, I've got it written down here, 2048 by 1152 pixels. So that's higher than HD, because HD is 1080 by 1920. So let's get the machine running now. I've tensioned it all up, so in theory it should just go straight through when I run it. And there we go. That's now scanning. Hit the start button on here and that will start scanning. And as you can see, the picture comes up on the scanner and it scans it really nicely. It's quite smooth, doesn't make a great deal of noise. You can hear it whirring. And then you can adjust the contrast and brightness, well basically the shadow detail, by turning this up and down here. And then you just let that go through. It scans at 2 different speeds. Now you can scan at a high speed or slower speed. I scan at the higher speed, which is about 15 frames a second is what it scans at, give or take. But when you export it, you set the frame rate that you want it to export at. Now regular 8 is shot at usually 16, 17 frames a second. So I export it at 17 frames a second to match what it was originally filmed at. Ironically, when you put that on the 25p timeline, the actual speed is correct. I know that doesn't sound mathematically right, but it does. It works, you know, works perfectly. If it was 16mm, I would probably set it to 18 or 24 frames as an export. So that's basically all you do. Just let that film run through, keep an eye on it, just to make sure that, you know, it's not jumping. But whether this camera here is picking up the scan, I don't know. Probably might be, but it will see that it's scanning out nice and smoothly, really, really nice and smoothly, and the machine's running through nice and smoothly. So this is why I use this scanner. I've tried many different ones. I've tried the little Wolverine ones, which are fine for, you know, if you've got half a dozen films at home, you want to buy a Wolverine machine, they're about 400 quid. Scan your films and then sell the machine on eBay, you know. But if you want to do it professionally and you want really, really high quality results, this is a very, very good machine for doing that. Unfortunately, movie stuff as a manufacturer don't make this particular model anymore. They've now got a Mark II machine, but that's around the 10,000, well, it's about 10 to 12,000 pound mark. This isn't. This was, I think I paid about 7,000 for it. So it's still, you know, pretty expensive, but it's relative to what it can do. And as I say, and it does do a very, very high quality job. And you know, that's a regular 8 film going through. At the moment, you've got different gates. So you've got regular 8, standard 8. Regular 8 and standard 8 is the same gate. And then there's a 16mm gate, which is, you know, obviously it's a bigger gate because the width is wider, the gate's wider to take into account the width of a 16mm film. You know, it's all made of brass construction, wood. It's a very, very nicely made, you know, machine. I have got an exposure control on the machine here, so I can actually adjust the exposure of that to take it down or up. I tend to keep the exposure up. It's basically the strength of the LED bulb is what that's controlling. I tend to keep it up and then control the shadow detail, basically the exposure detail here on this slider. And for the way I work, I find that works a treat. If you get really dark films, I can turn the gain up. That's typical, isn't it? A really dark piece there, so I can turn that gain up and then use noise reduction software in the edit to you know, get rid of any noise that the scan does create, because it will create noise, you know, and that is, you know, that running through. This is the camera head here, so that's what is setting up the 2K scan. This is predominantly all mechanical here. These are the gates. This is here. You unscrew these two here to put the 16mm gate in, and that's pretty much it. And then there's the controls here for Super 8, regular 8, 16mm, on, off, rewind, and what have you. The main guts of it really is the software, because that obviously controls the final output. You can output it as AVI or MOV. I always output as MOV. And then once I've created the MOV output, then I can put that into Final Cut Pro on the edit program in the back here on my iMac, and then edit the films for the customer. So, you know, if I just stop that for now, because we don't need to scan this, and we stop that, and then stop that from scanning, then you name your film, basically, just call that whatever you like. Name that. Now, this is in its proprietary software now. You can't do anything with this in here. You can't edit it. You then have to export that. So then, you know, you basically go to that, you go to the view button, which is click on export, and then you choose. It lists all the films that are on the computer. Then you select which ones you want to export, whether you want to export it as MOV, what speed you want to export it at, you know, whether it be 17 frames a second, 10 frames a second, or individual frames. You can export them as individual JPEG images. There would be no logic in doing that, because you would have, well, it's 18 frames a second, or in this case 17 frames a second, so every second there'd be 17 individual JPEGs for every second. So you imagine the huge files that would be, absolutely massive. So there would be no logic in doing that for the sort of cine film transfers that I do. So there we go. That is a quick update really on using the Retroscan. I can't imagine I'm going to be changing this machine. I've been very, very pleased. My customers have been delighted with the quality of the film that comes, you know, the scans that come out of this. The 16mm looks lovely, and mainly because of the width of the film. It's the resolution is better on 16mm anyway than what it is on Super 8 and Standard 8. It doesn't scan in 4K. I actually don't see the need for scanning in 4K because the grain's going to be heavier, so you're going to get more grain, and there's no need for that with Super 8 and Standard 8 film or 16mm. The 2K scan quality is very high, and it's very good indeed. Certainly for the sort of need that my customers ask for. So there we go. That is the update on the Retroscan 2K scanner. I'm loving it. Movie Stuff as a manufacturer, makes some great products. Roger Evans, who owns the company, is a genius when it comes to film. He's been in the film industry for many years and is very knowledgeable. Hence the reason his products are so well made. I say this has been in constant use since, I think it was June or July of 2016. So, you know, that's a long time that it's had a lot of use. A few parts have been replaced, been updated over a period of time. Various parts of it have been updated to keep it up to date. Software I update as well, but there we go. That's the Movie Stuff Retroscan HD scanner, well, 2K scanner. So there we go. Thanks very much for watching. I hope you found this video useful. It's not my normal sort of review as far as camera gear, audio gear, but it's still related to what I do within my business. So there we go. So thanks very much for watching. Please leave any comments if you have any comments. That would be fantastic. And please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done so. And you like the content of my video. That would be really helpful. Helps me grow the channel. And also leaving comments helps me grow the channel. So thanks very much for watching, and stay tuned for more videos relating to video and photography. Cheers for now. Bye.